Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to the Beginner's Budget Guide for the last Desert Treasure 2 boss, the Whisperer, that we're going to cover. This is the one that I have the least experience in, but this boss isn't all that complex to get started. The only thing that's really going to give you any trouble is the Enrage phase, of which I'm going to give you, I believe, 3 options to sort of get used to it. There's going to be, of course, the Thrall method, the Freeze method, and then the Run Around Because You're Scared method. All of them are completely valid. They will get you the same result. Some of them might just be quicker than others. So I'm going to go into a really brief explanation of how this boss works. But first, let's go over gear and inventory. So I am on the budget setup, the budget setup, okay? I believe our total risk is 5 mil, which the vast majority of that is literally just the Trident of the Swamp. The rest of this gear is maybe 800k combined, probably somewhere in there. I will forewarn you, if this is your first Desert Treasure 2 boss and you're going for a Soul Reaper axe, I highly recommend that you save the Whisperer for last, because this boss just takes a long time. If you're on a budget setup, I have done a few kills. My average time is about 4 minutes per kill. It's a little brutal, it takes a while, so your progress will be slow. However, if you save this boss for last, you should have a little bit more money to dump into your mage setup, especially with the new Eye of Ayak weapon. That thing goes crazy here. It's super good. You get a free special attack to lower her defense, and it's a 3-tick magic weapon that just hits really hard. So if you can manage to save up for that on your journey through your Soul Reaper axe, Eye of Ayak is a huge upgrade. Of course, Virtus, Ancestral, if you have any of that. Tormented Bracelet is, of course, huge, but I just allotted to go with the Barrow's Gloves. Obviously, Avernic Treads if you have those, but Eternals are totally fine. Anything like that. So all of your upgrades are good. Over here in the inventory, we have the Forgotten Brew. This is sort of our budget, sort of imbued heart kind of effect. So what happens when we drink it is our magic will be boosted plus 10 levels right here, which gives our Trident a little bit more damage. Our attack, strength, and defense will go down, but we don't care about that because we're at Whisperer. We are bringing super restores. Feel free to use prayer potions if you need to. Sand fuse if you're a rich boy. Doesn't really matter, just anything to restore your prayer. Prayer regeneration potions are arguable. They are a little bit on the expensive side, but if you are getting multiple kill trips, there's maybe an argument that you could at least pre-pot one before you come here. And your options for getting here are, of course, once you get the teleport, you can teleport to the Undercity. Let me go ahead and do this for you so I can show you. If you're not using this teleport, you can use a Mind Alter teleport, and it will basically just put you outside the ruins of Camdozel. This one is a far walk. There's nothing much you can really do about it until you get the teleport. However, when you do, make sure you have this teleporter unlocked, and you can go over to the Cathedral teleporter, which you also need to unlock right here, which is just outside the Whisperer's arena, and you can hop on in. The rest of the inventory, we are currently on the freeze setup. Obviously, just alter this. I'm going to show you both methods. If you are on the Thrall setup, just bring your Book of the Dead as your offhand instead of a Book of Darkness, and just put Thrall runes in here instead of freeze runes. If you are on Ancients, you can go ahead and upgrade your Thrall Book to a Book of Darkness. Obviously, if you have a Malediction Ward, Eladinus Ward Fortified, any of those kind of things, direct upgrade to Book of Darkness, go ahead and throw it on. You don't need to bring this. This is just the ultra budget setup. Anything else about gear? I believe we are good to talk about some mechanics. So, mechanics of the Whisperer are actually pretty simple. She has 3 special attacks, of which she will use in any order at 75, 50, and 25% HP. So those 3 special attacks are going to be, she will do like this little puzzle room thingy that you have to go into the Blackstone Fragment. So when you're in the fight, she'll go into the center of the room, she'll do some sort of animation, or she'll go into the back of the room and do some sort of animation. You know a special attack is coming. If she's in the middle of the room, it is either going to be the souls or the little puzzle thing that I was talking about. If she goes into the back of the room, which I believe over here, it's going to be pillars. So let's talk about the puzzle first. What she'll do is she'll spawn a pattern on the floor. And when you go into your Blackstone Fragment, make sure you're out of the way a little bit, because it is possible that when you go into your Blackstone Fragment, you'll be on one of the wrong buttons. And if you're on a wrong button, you'll get your sanity damaged up here, as well as your health. And let's go ahead and quickly talk about sanity. So what this bar is, effectively, if it hits 0, you will die. If you take damage during this fight from her tentacles or from anything in the special attack, you will take sanity damage when you're in the, whatever this, the Shadow Realm, I guess, Yu-Gi-Oh! When you're in there, your sanity will go down. It's not actually that big of a deal to just hang out in there and do the puzzle inside the room, but in my example kills, I'll show you that you don't have to stay in the room, but while you're learning, just go ahead and stay in there and just do the thing as it is intended to do. So, enough blabbing. As for the puzzle, when you get into the buttons, I'll show you in the example kill, maybe I'll put a picture up here while I'm yapping. There will be lighter green buttons and darker green buttons. All you have to do is run onto the lighter green buttons. That's it. And they're all one tick apart if you're running, so you can just click, 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 click all the way through. Once you get confident in that, or you memorize the patterns, both of these things are good. When you're confident, you can actually weave in some attacks during your movement, and you won't run out of sanity or time or anything. There is a plugin that shows you, here, I'll turn it on. These tiles we will be using in it. If you turn these on, these are the button patterns, the green and the purples. I'm just going to tell you to avoid this for now. If you get really into Whisper and you really like Whisper, you can worry about memorizing the puzzle. Don't worry about that for now. It's not a big deal. All you really need to worry about is doing the boss, getting your KC up, and figuring it all out, right? So after the button special is done, say she does that first, she will either do the souls or the pillars. So let's talk about pillars real quick. I'll put a picture up here, or I'll just put my example kill that I was doing up here while I'm yapping. The pillars are effectively just a 1, 2, 3. You need to go to the lowest health pillar, then the second lowest health pillar, and then the full health pillar. And you just hide behind them while she does her little slat attack. Not a big deal, that's kind of it. If you would like, you are allowed to just look at the second highest health pillar and the full health pillar when you go into the Shadow Realm. Go out of the Shadow Realm and just hide behind any pillar that wasn't those two pillars, and you will save some sanity. Again, you likely won't run out of sanity even if you do stay in there the whole time. The only way that's going to happen is if you're eating a bunch of tentacle damage, but that shouldn't happen with the way I'm going to explain it to you. The third and final special is the biggest nothing burger in the world. She will go into the middle of the arena, she will spawn some souls, you have to go into your Blackstone Fragment again, and all I'm going to have you do is throw on your knives, or your blowpipe, or your darts, or chin chompas, I don't care what you use. All you have to do is throw your ranged weapon at the yellow souls that say Vita. That means life. And that's just going to do damage to her. There's 2 of them. All you have to do is kill those and then leave, and you'll be fine. Now, after every special attack is something a little fancy that happens. She is going to freeze you in place. So, as you'll see in my example kills, every time she does a special, I run really far away. Doesn't matter if you're on Thrall Book or if you're on Freeze, if you're on Ancients, you just want to say she's right here, you want to go all the way over here. So what I recommend you do is, this is the gate to get in. Make sure you shift right click this, swap your left click to whatever it's on right now, to like walk here or examine or whatever. Probably just walk here if you can do it. That way you don't accidentally leave the arena. Say you have like a weird angle, she's sitting right here and you accidentally go like that. You don't want to accidentally leave the arena. I'm totally not speaking from experience here. So, when she comes out of that Shadow Realm, run far away, and if you're on Freeze Book, all you're going to do is get ready to freeze her once she starts moving. When she starts moving, you just freeze. And you're going to try and hold her in this diamond if you're doing the freeze method. This is courtesy of Imperator BTW, these tiles. I will put his video in the description if you want to go check it out. Pretty good tips in there if you need some little advanced tips, but we're just going to yoink the tiles for the freeze method because I do find that it actually is pretty decent to do this method for Enrage. If you're struggling with Enrage, I highly recommend you start here, and then once you sort of get a hang of it, you can do the Thrall method, which you can technically still do this, it's just less reliable because if you can't get her into this box, it no longer works. So you have to do the this setup where you go in a tight little square. Or you can do the third option, which is just run around like an idiot and just don't get hit and it's fine. Okay, so we covered specs, and we covered what happens after specs. That's like the big thing. So while you're just fighting Whisperer, when she starts the fight, she's going to just pick an attack style to stick to for that phase. So she's going to do 3 mage attacks or 3 range attacks. And that's just what she's going to pick. She's going to pick one of those 2 things every time she attacks for phase 1. And I'm going to refer to this as she's either going to do AAA or BBB. And you just have to respond accordingly. And then after her attack is finished, she's going to spawn 4 tentacles around you. Now, don't get scared of these tentacles. All I want you to do is pay attention to where the tentacles spawn and click 1 tile in a cardinal direction that you do not see a tentacle. So say they spawn in the northeast and the southeast and the northwest and the southeast and the southwest. I'm speaking. You're just going to go north, east, west, or south. You see what I mean? So it's going to target your tile. And all you have to do, those tentacles are going to come at you from their center tile to your tile. That's how they attack you. All you have to do is click the empty space. And I'm going to put some clips of that on screen. I'm going to slow it down for you. Just click the empty space, the empty cardinal direction, any of these. So you have these options right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options. Just click any of these boxes, whatever the empty space, there is no tentacle in that direction. 1 tile, click that direction, back to the boss. It is that simple. That is basically the entire fight. You're just going to click 1 tile after she does her attacks. Now, after special attack 1, she will go into quote-unquote phase 2, where she now changes her attack style. She is then going to choose AAB or BBA, if that makes sense. So it'll be mage, mage, range, or range, range, mage. And she's just going to 50-50 that. All you have to do is react to it, because this boss is reactable prayers. So if it's range, range, mage, you just have to make sure you get your prayers on in that amount of time. She's going to start P1 doing AAA or BBB, mage, 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 or range, range, range. After you do the first spec, she is going to do mage, mage, range, or range, range, mage. And she's going to do that again after the second special. After the third special, before Enrage, she is then going to do range, mage, range, or mage, range, mage. She's now going to alternate. But again, it's a 50-50, and all you have to do is react to it, and the tentacles are the exact same thing. Click 1 tile in whichever direction there is an empty spot for you to move. Now, that's basically the whole fight. All you're going to be doing is prayer, move, click boss. Prayer, move, click boss. That's pretty much the rotation. Then she's going to do her first special, then she's going to do her second special, then she's going to do her third special at 75, 50, and 25%. That part is fairly simple. You'll see in the clips, even if you mess up once or twice, it's not a big deal. You can just go ahead and eat some food. Make sure you keep your prayer open. What I'm going to tell you to do in this fight, every time you leave a special attack, I want you to click a prayer potion. I don't care if you're at 70 out of 80 prayer, I want you to click a prayer potion. You need to make sure you're keeping your prayer high, because that is what's going to kill you in Enrage phase. If your DPS is low in Enrage phase, you are going to run out of prayer and you are going to die. So you need to be sure you're keeping an eye on your prayer, because when you're in Enrage, you are in the Shadow Realm and you can't leave it. So she is constantly draining your prayer and constantly draining your sanity. With low DPS, that kind of sucks. So on a budget setup, Enrage is basically the entire fight. So we need to figure out a way to deal with that properly. And I think for my beginners out there, stick to the freeze, stick to the running around, and I'll fully explain this now. So Enrage phase, what you're going to want to do is on her third special attack, you want to make sure she is in this ring to the best of your ability. Try to not make her all the way over here, because then you're going to get dragged from this tile. You want her you want her center tile somewhere in this area. Like somewhere in here or any further. Like this set of 9 tiles. Try not to go like too deep this way, so you can make sure you're attacking on all of these tiles. Specifically these further extended ones. Now, what are these for? I know tiles seem complicated. They can be. This isn't too bad. So the way her Enrage phase operates is every 2 ticks, she's throwing an attack at you, and every 4 ticks, it is alternating, if that makes sense. So it's going to be range, range, mage, mage, range, range, mage, mage, sort of on that cadence. So what we're trying to do in Enrage phase, when she puts us over here, find a tile. It doesn't matter really where you are. Find a tile, and what you're going to do is get your prayer right, attack the boss, and you're going to go move, move, get your prayer, attack the boss. Move, move, get your prayer, attack the boss. You want to try to not be on a tile for more than 2 ticks. So the reason we move, move, attack is because we are on attack cooldown. Our attack is 4 ticks, and her attack switches every 4 ticks. So that means we can sort of line it up to where we're switching our prayer and attacking the boss, just like we were before the Enrage phase. So as long as we can move in such a way that lines up our attack cycle with switching our prayers, it makes this a little bit easier. And I'll show you in the example kill. I'll throw it up on screen right now. And that's all I can really tell you. It's move, move, prayer, attack. Move, move, prayer, attack. Just try not to be on any tile for more than 2 ticks, because if you are, those tentacles are going to hit you. If they do hit you, remember, your sanity is going to go down, you're going to take damage, and your prayer is going to get shafted. So, if you want to try to recover, food is actually not the answer most of the time. Considering you'll take like 20 damage, you'll go to like 70 HP. Your HP is not what's going to kill you, it's your prayer. So think of it sort of like PvP, you don't want to get smited. So boom, prayer pot, try and stay in. So if you are in a sticky situation, you can leave your prayer book open and just start doing this. Just start doing this and respond to prayer. You can literally do this and you'll never get hit. As long as you do that, you will never get hit. If you stay on these tiles, keep your prayer book open, keep switching those prayers, like you will be fine. Obviously don't go too fast like I was doing, because then you end up skipping. But if you keep it to 1 tick and just keep moving, you will never get hit by a tentacle. However, you will get hit by her auto attacks, so you gotta be a little bit careful. Okay? So the way Enrage works, she always starts with a ranged attack, and she will do 2 of them. Then she will do a magic attack, 2 of them. And then she will do 2 ranged attacks, 2 mage attacks. And all you're doing is running around 1, 2, attack, 1, 2, attack, 1, 2, attack, 1, 2, attack. Okay? And you're catching your prayers along the way. It's going to take some getting used to. There's not much else I can do to explain it. However you want to do it is fine. And worst case scenario, if this isn't flying with you, this is not floating your boat, you can't figure it out, you don't like this, you can just run around. But the way you want to run around is avoiding Whisperer and moving a diagonal. So you can go like this. If you really want to do this, you can do this, and it'll work just fine. And you can kind of just go back and forth. Just make sure you don't accidentally run back into one of your tentacles. And you can do like this and attack the boss, click here, attack the boss, click, click, get your prayer, attack the boss, click, click. As long as you're moving a diagonal, it should be okay. You don't want to do this. If you do this, you're going to run into a tentacle, and it's going to be big hurty, big bad. You don't like that. So I will show you some example kills now and do a little bit more commentary over them as we go. Okie dokie, we have started the example kill. This is pretty simple. She's going to pick mage or she's going to pick range, and all you have to do is catch all 3 of those prayers and then move in that 1 tile direction that I showed you earlier. Just wherever the empty space is between those tentacles, just click in that direction and you will be completely fine for this phase 1. Make sure your Forgotten Brood up. If you are bringing thralls, you can go ahead and thrall up as well. But if you are on ancients, you're kind of just chilling, doing the prayers and moving out of the way. Nothing crazy happening right now. First special is going to be the pillars. So we can pop in, we see low HP right there, we see second lowest next to us, and third lowest 2 to the left of that. So we can go here. Once she does her slam, we can click her if we want to get a little bit of damage. Usually you don't hit very hard because she does take reduced damage in her specials. So it's not like imperative that you attack, but you can try your best if you would like to. Next thing that happens, we're going to get frozen. We're going to wait for her to come into the ring. I kind of signal it right there. We're going to wait for her to come into the ring. We're going to freeze, and we'll step back a little bit to make space for ourselves. Now, she's going to do range, range, mage, or mage, mage, range. And all we have to do is move into one of the empty spaces, just like we did in the first phase. nothing crazy again. So all we're going to do is lower her to 50% HP and wait for the second special. And there she goes to the middle of the room. So we know that it's going to be ghosts or buttons because we just did pillars. And she just does one of the three. It's completely random. All you're going to do is attack the yellow Vita guys, and then you're going to teleport out, and you'll be good to go. And then here, you want to make sure you wait until she moves one tile before you freeze. Because if you don't wait, then she's not going to freeze. She's going to have a little bit of immunity before she moves. So make sure you wait until she moves. And then it's the same as the phase previous, range, range, mage, or mage, mage, range. And then, again, responding to the tentacles, just move in the direction that there is an empty space. That's all you have to remember. One tile in the direction that there is an empty space, and you're good to go. And now we're just whittling her down to 25-ish%. It might be somewhere in the lines of like 80, 30, I don't know. This boss is kind of weird. If she does end up doing the thing where you pushed her too far into her phase, and she doesn't freeze you, it can get a little bit awkward with this method that I'm showing you for the Enrage. But this will be third phase, and this is buttons. I'm not going to weave in any autos, and I actually believe I mess up on one of my movements. I just like misclick. And if that happens, look, I misclick there, misclick twice, you just get back in rhythm, doesn't matter, I had plenty of time, I have 97% sanity still. Like, it doesn't matter if you stay there. She did end up freezing us, so we freeze her, make sure we're keeping her in that ring relatively centered, and now she's going to either do mage, range, mage, or range, mage, range. And we're just responding accordingly and moving to an empty square once we see the tentacles. Plain and simple until Enrage phase. When Enrage phase rolls around, all you have to do is switch over to Protect Range, and that's always what she's going to start on. She's going to throw 2 ranged attacks on you, then 2 mage attacks. And she's going to switch her style every 4 ticks. So loosely do what I told you. Move, move, attack, and you'll switch prayers if you're in cycle. If you end up getting out of cycle or you get confused, just start running around. It's totally fine. You'll probably get there. But here we go. I attack her, try to make sure I'm on the same tick as her relatively, and I know that I'm moving at least every 2 ticks so I don't get tentacles, and I'm catching all those prayers just going around in a circle. You don't have to do 1-2 shoot, it's just something to keep your mind at ease while you're learning. But if you want to, you can do as I'm doing and sort of just doing the 1 tile shoot, 1 tile shoot. I'll go ahead and show you a different method for Enrage phase here that I don't really like personally. I couldn't quite get the cadence down. I think I just fell out of cycle and it got messed up. But essentially the idea is on the furthest away tiles, you would end up shooting, and then the left and right tiles, you would end up changing your prayer. But because it took me so long to get to the one that actually worked, because I was out of range, I was completely out of cycle, I was discombobulated, I was trying to figure it out. And I loosely ended up getting it. I missed prayers like a madman, as you can see. And I moved like an idiot, as you can see, and I still got the kill. So Enrage isn't that terrible, all things considered. Like, if I had just ran around there instead of trying to do the method, it would have been totally fine. And I'll show you a running around Enrage now as well. So 9 times out of 10, this is what running around is going to get you. Spoiler alert, I do end up dying, because this is running around, okay? This is what I'm going to show you. This is the reason you're probably dying. Okay, initially I'm running around decent. I'm trying to stay on angles, right? Trying to stay on angles. And then suddenly I start moving in a straight line, and straight lines are bad. We don't like straight lines. I'm trying to keep it diagonal. Oh, I got hit by a tentacle. Okay. Oh, no, my prayer's getting low. Oh, I ran into melee. Oh, no. Oh, that smited me quite a bit. I'm still trying to run around. Oh, I got my prayer wrong. Oh, I got hit by a tentacle again because I ran in the vertical. Oh, I got my prayer wrong because I got looked at that. And then, oh. You know? So it's nice to keep things in more of a orderly fashion, as it were. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do the running around thing as a failsafe. Because as a failsafe, that would have worked, right? If I tried to stick to one of the methods where I can accurately do the movement and prayer switching, and then I fall out of cycle, say 10 seconds into the Enrage, well, I've already done a fair bit of damage, so now if I fall out of it, okay, now I can run around, and I'll probably be okay. The kill is going to be messy, but I should be okay. So some closing remarks here as I do the little outro. Budget Whisper is rough. This is the roughest boss for a budget, so be sure to put the money in where you can to make this boss a little less punishing. Any of the Enrage phase tactics will work. I recommend that you start with the freeze method that I showed you and that I sort of hammered home a little bit more in this video. Thanks to Imperator as well. Again, his video will be in the description, and if you need the tiles, I will also put those in the description as well. All you have to do is get the ground markers plugin, right-click it when you are in Whisperer's Arena, and hit import tiles, and you will be able to get them just as you see on my screen here. Just whichever method you end up picking, stick to it. You will be fine. You're gonna die. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. That's how you learn. If you end up doing the Thrall method, just make sure every time she does a special attack, you're running really, really far away, and she just won't make it to you, and you can, you know, go from there. That's pretty much it. You just have to go past 10 tiles, and she won't freeze you, but if you do have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, leave them in the comment section below, and I can do my best to address anything else that you may need. Peace out.